All right, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to this very interesting presentation about scaling your business with digital and AI. And I'm saying it's interesting because last night when I was updating this presentation, I went onto internet and found out there were 3 or 4 new things that I hadn't discovered about AI. So this space is growing so fast every single day that it's very difficult to keep up. I'll probably start with something very simple. Do you know her? Like anyone? So this girl is basically an AI bot. She doesn't exist in reality, but she is an Instagram influencer. She has got a following of 167,000. She has got her own website. Her name is Mila Sofia, lives in Finland. She's got a whole virtual world. The website itself has been designed by AI. The content has been written by AI as well. There are many more out there. One I was looking at had 6.5 million followers, and she was earning $50,000 per month through her social profile. How many of us earn less than $50,000 a month? I think most of us. And we've got an AI bot earning much more than us. The reason I showed that is because this is the reality of the world that we are living in. It's bizarre, but that's the reality of the world that we are living in. You might have looked at this picture, again, generated by AI, went viral across the internet. And this one, so this is not the picture of the assassination attempt on Trump. This was actually created on 21st of March 2023, which was last year. So again, the things that AI can imagine and AI can do is pretty bizarre. Well, what we are here to talk about is how we can use AI to scale your business. And there are 3 main things that we are going to be looking at. First is how you can improve the efficiency and productivity of your business. The second is the customer experience in terms of how AI can help improve the customer experience. And third thing is data-driven decision making. However, for all of these things to be effective, a very important thing that you need to keep in mind is that you need to have a scalable business model. Well, AI is going to work and make your life easier even if you don't have a scalable business model. But AI can really do wonders if you have got a scalable business model. So, what is a scalable business model? A model where you've got repeatable processes, a model that has got potential to do a lot of automation, which has got flexible infrastructure, and you can do standardization. For example, if you've got a business that's restricted by the space that you have or the staff that you have, the challenge with that is that you can't scale it very quickly into a larger organization, which means you can still use AI in the business, but it's not gonna have an effect, the huge amount of effect that you would expect in a business. So I'll walk you through some examples of how you can actually take a standard business and convert it into a scalable business, and then we will move on to a more exciting AI part. This is not AI generated. This is my sister, Dr. Aamir Qutub. She's a GP, had her own clinic. At the age of around 40, she went into a bit of midlife crisis. She wanted to do something new, something bigger. But the problem with the clinic and her patients, like her work setup was that she could only see limited amount of patients. She had expertise in skincare, but her earnings and her business was limited by either her or her recruiting more doctors, which was again difficult to recruit. So she ended up using her expertise in skincare and creating a range of products, a range of skincare products. What she did was she actually took her knowledge, took her intellectual property, and then converted it into a product. Now the products are much more scalable. We have put it on our website. You can scale it. You can create more products. You can sell it. But now you can use AI, and that's the stuff that we are working on with her right now. Is we are actually working to create a skincare recommender where people would be able to put in their photos, talk about their skin type, answer some questions, and that recommender would provide them specific skincare regime according to the inputs and the photos that the AI received. Another example, that's my beautiful wife, Sarah. She came here as an overseas trained dentist and she wanted to pursue dentistry. So she had to go through multiple exams over 3 or 4 years and finally ended up becoming a dentist. Again, dentists earn well, but they are limited by the potential of what they can earn because it's still dependent on their time. So she actually used her expertise in cracking the examination, and she ended up creating a course that would help other international students come in Australia and prepare for the examination. From this course, she ended up creating a social network for all of the people who were preparing for Australian Dental Council examinations. And now, with the help of AI, we are working with her to create an AI tutor that could actually help students practice. Because with dentistry examinations, there are a lot of viva, lot of practical things, and so on. So that AI bot would actually help people practice the examination. This is a very famous example. So I sort of showed you a few examples from the home, few examples from the far away. Netflix actually came as a competitor to Blockbuster. So Blockbuster used to rent DVDs. Netflix came up with a better model of renting the DVDs. But then it pivoted to what we know now. It took all of those DVDs, put it on a streaming platform, and has become much more scalable as well. So in terms of thinking about where your business is at and how you can actually convert it, you can think of creating a physical product. You can look at creating a course or a credential, a subscription or a membership. Maybe if you're a chef or if you run a restaurant, a meal kit. Maybe a research package. We have been working with a lot of universities who are actually converting their researches into a subscription type offering that they are giving to industry. So they say, we are going to do all of the hard work in the research, and then we are going to give you the industry insights, and they get paid for that. And there are many other options that you can think of. One of the ones that come to my mind is this one. If you don't know what this is, I'll actually let the founder do the talking.
Founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle, a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis.
And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, Pop. Stop paying for shave tank you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship it right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
I'm working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
No Vanderbilt, and this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
So that is basically an example of someone going into an already existing industry, which was led by large players, and creating a subscription model. And they shot this video in-house. It went viral. It has around 28 million views at the moment, and their business took off from here. And that's the power of internet. But the question is, what if I don't want a scalable business model? What if you are happy with your current business model and still want to implement AI? The answer is yes, you can use AI, and there are some amazing tools and technologies that are available, but you would not be able to experience it fully unless you have a scalable business model. One way to approach it is that you can actually try and play with AI and start implementing AI into your current scenarios, and then look at making your business model scalable as we move forward. So we are going to spend a few minutes looking at what's actually out there in terms of technology, how the technology is changing, how AI is evolving. And then we are going to move on to our sort of three major points about how to scale our business. So the one thing that is actually influencing the industry at the moment is with AI, there's going to be a time where the Google search as we know it is going to die. Now, Google is investing in AI, so they might come up with a better product or better search. Right now, what's happening is there are two products. One is perplexity.ai. It's basically a search engine that allows you to do much better searches and provide much better context rather than just doing a keyword based search and then giving you results accordingly. So the SEO as we know it at the moment, the search engine optimization, which is fully based on keywords, is going to change, because what Google used to do is that Google would train its spiders to crawl the pages and then identify the keywords. It had defined some metrics, but the spiders were actually defined by Google algorithm or metrics. What perplexity.ai is going to do, or what it's doing, is rather than looking at the keywords, is actually understanding what a particular page is saying and then providing a better context-based search, which means the search engine optimization that we were doing is not going to be the same. It would change to what we are calling as large language model engine optimization. So your website, your data interfaces now needs to be large language model optimized. Another one is a product by OpenAI, the company that created ChatGPT. It's called Search GPT. Right now, it's available in waitlist. And this is going to really revolutionize the way we search the internet and look for things. One more big shift that we are going to see is right now we have got mobile phones and we use a whole lot of apps. Like I looked at my phone, I had 76 apps installed in there. And do this exercise when you go back home, check how many apps have you got. And to do a task, what we have to do is you have to go onto an application, open it. I have to order an Uber, then I have to open it, enter the address, and then find an Uber. So there's still 4 or 5 presses that are involved. Where we are going with likes of these smart speakers is that it's going to be a voice-based world where people, rather than going on their phone, they'll just say, hey, I need an Uber, I need to go to this place, and it will actually, smart speakers would be able to order Uber for you, smart speakers would be able to order food for you, and the opportunities and possibilities are endless. Another thing that has happened this year is this is basically a prototype. It's basically an AI assistant called Rabbit R1. It was launched by a startup in CES 2024. It has got a camera. It doesn't have a very good touch interface. It has got a roller. But what you can do is you can actually speak into it and ask it to perform any task. Right now, I can use it to call an Uber, order food from DoorDash, go into my company files, find me an information, check the latest email, tell me where my next appointment is, and so on. But because it is connected to Zapier, which is an AI integration thing, it allows me to connect with different systems in my organization and sort of acts as a personal assistant. One of my favorite use cases is, it's not connected to internet at the moment, but one of my favorite use cases is that I would open up my fridge, point this device on my fridge and say, hey, I'm tired, I've got these things in my fridge. Tell me what can I eat tonight. It will scan the fridge, identify, okay, you have got tomatoes, you have got all of these things. You can actually make, and it will give me a recipe of the dish that I can make. And that's where the future is going with these smart assistants. ChatGPT, you all have heard and a lot about, you might have used it a lot as well. But again, ChatGPT is not the only player in the market. We have likes of Google Gemini, and Gemini is a multimodal AI. What it means is that it can receive information. It is actually designed by default to receive information in form of images, videos, voices, and then output the information, the same thing. One of the very interesting use cases, it can take a handwritten answer sheet or an assignment by a student. You scan it or take a photo of this with Gemini. It will actually identify the answer and provide the response in terms of the student did not get the correct answer, they made these mistakes, and this is how the problem needs to be solved. And something that has actually been released last week is by the company who created Facebook, Meta. They have created a new large language model called Llama 3.1. And the reason it's exciting is that it is first of its kind, fully open source model. What it means is that you can actually take all of the code that has been with all of the trainings, download it on your computer, and then you can train it on your own organization's data to and modify it and fine tune it to perform multiple actions. A very basic use case is doing searches, but mainly where we are using it with organizations is we are taking organizations' different documents, their policies, procedures, all of the knowledge that sits in there, the videos, meeting notes, training, passing it through Llama 3.1, and then if you need to find any answers, Llama 3.1 will have answers for you. If you want to produce proposals, documents, new policies, new procedures, new submissions, Llama 3.1 would be able to do that for you. We have already seen what Midjourney can do. Midjourney is basically a tool where you can actually put prompts in and it would generate amazing images for you. Jasper is a marketing tool. It's something that our marketing team uses to create a whole lot of content. Of course, there's a human element involved in there, but you can actually put in the brand voice. You can put in how you want the things to be. You can modify your tone. You can feed it a whole lot of things, and then it will produce blogs, contents, social media posts. It has got 90 different type of contents that it can produce for you. There's another one called copy.ai. So there are a few in the market, but Jasper has been there for a very long time. Then you've got likes of Wondercraft AI, which actually takes your blog, newsletter, or article, or any written material and turns it into a podcast. Now you can train it with your own voice, and it will mimic your voice so that it feels like that you are recording that podcast. You can put it on the website, on the podcasting tools, and your podcast is live. So if you are a busy entrepreneur, you don't have time to record podcasts, you're shy, you can use something like this to create your own podcasts. And as the technology is improving, the voice is becoming more and more natural. Another one called Runway, which is for video editing and video creation, where you can give it prompts and it can create amazing videos for you. But not only that, you can give it a video and ask it to edit or put special effects, and then it can provide those special effects. Things like erase and replace. So erase this football and replace it with a basketball, and it would do it for you. This one is our favorite that we use in our organization called Meet Geek. Some of you might already be using a meeting assistant. What it does, it joins the meeting, and it is multi-platform. You can use it on Teams, Google Meet, Skype. Anyone uses Skype anymore? No. Zoom. And then it can not only record and transcribe, it can understand the minutes, create actions, take those actions and send them to your project management tool, Asana, Jira, whatever you are using, or give you the list and say, here are the actions. And the more and more you use it, understands the context of your organization, understand the voices of different people, and knows who said what at any point of time. You can go back and search particular instances of meeting there as well. There are a whole lot of different AIs for everything. Like we use AI for email, we use AI for our calendar management, for creating presentation. I think we would be using at the moment 20 different tools for AI. But the thing is that if I have not covered them in my presentation, there's a website that's titled There's an AI for That. So if you go to www.there'sanai4that, you can actually find AI using AI. So what you can do is you can say, I need an AI that can do this for me, and it will find a tool that can just do that for you. So in terms of what we have been doing with artificial intelligence, we have been generally working with mainly larger organizations who have got the budget, because these tools are freely available, but then we have got larger organizations who have got more complex requirements. So some of the work that we are doing is we are working with NDIS providers, integrating AI with their Salesforce CRM, and then automating the generation of NDIS reports for them. So earlier it used to take them 2 to 3 days to create a report and submit to NDIS. Now we have automated the system. In 1 hour, we are able to produce 20 to 30 reports through that. We have done some work with a call center where we are able to hook into the customer's voice and understand the sentiments, whether the customer is feeling angry or frustrated, what are the customers feeling, and then apply correction. So rather than, right now when you call customer care center, they say, can you leave a feedback at the end? So rather than having them to provide the feedback, we can track in real time how they are feeling. We can sort of look at the previous data in terms of how they are feeling, what they are feeling, how are the sentiments, and how they are responding to different responses. So like there might be 5 different agents who would, for the same problem, might provide a different response. We can then assess and identify, okay, this is probably the best response that you can give to this particular problem that would calm the person down. Another thing that we have done is within a large conference organization is that we have placed a camera over here that can look at your faces and then interpret whether you were interested in presentation or not. So you can sort of, across various different speakers and events, it can identify how interested people were in the presentation. We are doing some basic work around machine learning where we are working with educational organizations as well, take their data, students' data from all different places, like how many times they are logging into library, if they are studying at night, if they are opening up the systems and things like that, and then predicting what are the risks of this student leaving the course in between, but also what type of careers would be most suitable for these type of students. Coming back to our point about using AI to scale your business, there are 3 major things that we need to look at. First is efficiency and productivity. So in terms of increasing efficiency and productivity, there are 4 major case studies that we looked at that are happening around the globe. So what Amazon have done is that they have implemented AI in terms of in their warehouse automation, which means that rather than sort of like using an old methodology like first in, first out, or having a very set algorithm, it is actually letting AI decide what needs to go where based on how quickly that thing would be required, how heavy that thing is. So it's using a whole lot of data points and designing the databases, designing the warehouses for Amazon. The next thing that very interesting, what Siemens have done is I used to be in manufacturing sector, so there used to be a maintenance team, and they were always on call. And their job was that if something goes wrong, they would come in and fix that thing, make sure that the machines are working, everything is working fine. With the help of sensors, what Siemens have done is they have actually utilizing the sensors data and predicting in advance whether a machine has likelihood of failing. So they can do preventive maintenance rather than actually going in later and fixing that thing. What UPS is doing with their route optimization is that they have got a machine learning model that's trained on identifying the routes for their trucks on the basis of the size of the shipment, where it needs to go, traffic condition, weather conditions, and a whole lot of different factors. And finally, General Electric, they are actually using AI in their manufacturing. They have placed a lot of sensors across everything in their manufacturing space, and basically mainly using AI to make their efficiency and productivity in manufacturing much better. But this is for large organizations. How can this apply to the small businesses? Well, the few things that we can look at is having an AI-driven inventory management system. So if you run a small e-commerce shop or a normal shop and you have got some sort of inventory, you can actually use AI that connects with your inventory management system, and if you've got a CRM, to determine which products are selling faster based on the history. We saw an uptake that these products are sold faster in April, or based on multiple different factors. Like a lot of analytical work that you had to do as a business owner, AI can do it, and it can tell you what inventory do you need in what time, and can actually make those orders for you, or at least create those purchase orders for you. The next one is predictive analytics for sales forecasting. So again, if you are using some sort of CRM, or even not using a CRM, even if you're using a basic Google Sheet or an Excel to identify your sales opportunity, AI can go in there and help you predict on the basis of your previous data and the data that it already has. For example, Meta Llama 3.1 has already been trained with huge amount of data, so it already has got industry insights. It can hook into your data and provide you much better forecasting around the sales. Then things like AI powered fraud detection. If you run an e-commerce store, AI can really help with that. And then virtual assistants for administrative tasks. I use this. You don't need to use this. You can get a ChatGPT premium subscription, train it on your organization. Well, what I mean by train, you can't really train it. What you can do is you can feed the documents and save it in its memory so that it becomes contextual for you. It can provide contextual answers. So right now I can pull up my phone and ask ChatGPT to do a quick 2 minutes pitch that I need to do for an investor, for Enterprise Monkey. It will actually pick up the information from all of the data that I have provided and will produce that for me. But then I can again hook ChatGPT with my internal systems that I'm using, with my emails, with my internal communication tools, human resource management systems, and allow it to automate a lot of tasks for me as well. And then finally, AI for product recommendations. Again, if you're using a shop or if you've got some sort of products, then you can use AI to provide product recommendations as well. Moving on to customer experience. So that's the second part. So we looked at the internal processes in terms of how you can optimize and automate them. The next part is the customer experience. So there are three main case studies over there. First is Sephora. Sephora is a big makeup brand. You can go on Sephora's website and then apply makeup virtually on your face. So it would track your face. You can apply different type of makeups virtually and try how it's going to look on your face, and it will exactly tell you how it looks like. And it's pretty advanced than what we used to see earlier. Like we have seen organization where you can put your specs on your face and things like that. But what Sephora is doing is Sephora is looking at your skin tone, what's under your skin, really analyzing your look and feel and your skin. And from there, Sephora is actually allowing you to put different shades of makeup on your face and seeing which would actually work out for you or not. Another one that's an interesting one is Marriott International, and what they have done is they have actually replaced their customer support with a whole AI-driven customer experience. So if you call Marriott International, a real person would not pick up the phone, and AI would pick up the phone, and you would ask it the questions, it will provide you the questions. And what they have seen is that they are able to answer 80% of the questions that people ask. It's only 20% times when it has to forward it to different places. Now, AI actually had a bad name because there were bots that would not answer any question, and they were like pretty basic. But now with the new technology and generative AI and large language models, it's all becoming possible. And finally, Starbucks. So with Starbucks app, again, it's a US example, but Starbucks look at all of your purchase history and can provide recommendations in terms of what type of coffee, what type of beverages would you like, and just really keep you engaged there as well. Now, again, what this looks like for the small business? So one thing that you can implement straight away is an AI-powered customer feedback analysis. And I've given an example of small cafe, but applies to everyone. If you have got reviews on Google Reviews, Yelp, Glassdoor, wherever, you can actually hook AI to get insights about what those reviews means, how those reviews are changing, what are some of the actionable recommendations from those reviews straight away. If you collect customer feedback in your business, then again, it's very powerful. If you do any sort of surveys, you can actually hook AI with your survey records, and then it can generate some amazing insights for you. And mostly small business owners again are busy. They've got less time, they're short on resources. So something that like this that could actually look at your reviews, identify the insights, but then can provide you triggers in terms of if something is going wrong, would be really helpful for a business owner. The next one is an AI powered personalization for an online boutique. So if you run an online shop, which is again similar to my sister Saba's example, it's a skincare product. Now everyone has got a different skin, everyone has got a different need. So like what we are doing with her is the next level because we are scanning the face and so on. But you can actually conversate with the customer. Your AI can conversate with the customer and help them develop a shopping list. So it's like creating a personal shopping experience every time a person is landing on your shop. Then the next one is an AI-powered chatbot for a small local service business. Even if you are a tradie or a plumber or electrician, whatever, you can't be available for a chat all the time. You can train the AI, and then people can ask basic questions about your business. And as AI provides answer, you can train the chatbots to perform better. But the way we are using Marie.
We would be that for that one, the chatbot.
Well, actually, there are quite a few at the moment. Uh, as a follow-up, I can send you some because there are like ManyChat and there are quite a few good ones that are performing well. It would depend, although, on your needs, how much data that you have, and how you want to train it. There are two types of app. One type of app, they've got their own intelligence and they sort of provide their own data, but the problem with those is that they can provide some hallucinations in terms of like they can provide some false information as well. There are some that are more conservative, where they rely on your data to provide information, but they are then data hungry because they need more and more data to be able to provide information as well. So based on your needs and where you stand, there are some quite good few ones. The way we use chatbots in our organization is, again, training our internal knowledge base, training AI with our internal knowledge base and our internal knowledge, so that if a new staff member comes in or if a new person joins the organization, or even an existing person, and they want to know how to do something, they can just go onto that chatbot, ask a question, and get the answer straight away. That just saves them, going to their manager or going to a buddy and asking them, hey mate, how do I do this? They can just do it in there. One thing that we have also implemented, because we are a development organization, we develop websites, apps, softwares, is we have implemented AI in coding. So there's a tool by GitHub called GitHub Copilot. We have integrated it in our coding, and now rather than writing the code, our guys have to say, let's write a code for login, and it would automatically create that code. They might have to do one or two tweaks, and then once they have finished the code, a developer would say, can you check this code for syntax? It will optimize the code and say, this is a better code. Can you create comments and documentation for this code? And it would create documentations for that code as well. So we have measured the effect. It has actually saved 30% of our time in coding itself. And then using AI in automation testing, we have actually reduced our bugs by 40% as well. And then finally, AI-powered loyalty programs for small retail stores. That's something that small retail stores can now implement. You don't have to go and use larger organizations or tie up with likes of Flybys and so on. You can create your own loyalty programs that would not just allow you to capture your customers' details, but then again, the beauty about loyalty program and the way it works is what you are doing is you're tracking every time a customer is making a purchase, and then you start to get some trends in terms of why they are making that purchase, what are they purchasing, from where they are purchasing, and then you can start to provide some amazing recommendation on that basis. Finally is data-driven decision making. That's the third part that is really going to the next level with AI. So first is Netflix, first case studies of Netflix. So you would all have seen the content recommendations that we get on Netflix. They are actually driven by AI. AI doesn't only look at, okay, what is the videos that you have seen. It also looks at what time have you seen them, how much have you seen them, how engaged you were, like in terms of did you just quickly scrolled it, or you sort of your mouse was at one position and when you were watching that video, and on that basis it provides you more recommendations. And that's why I find myself watching one series after another and another, because I think, okay, I have to finish this series and that's it, I'm not going to watch another one. But as soon as I finish that, there's another recommendation that is very similar to that series. They also did a very good interesting experiment. They used just data to create a series. Like, they looked at all of their data and saw what were the good things about all the series that were there, and then they create House of Cards series on the basis of that data. So it took the best things about VFX, the best things about the animations, the dialogue delivery and everything, and then created a series out of that. The next one is what Walmart is doing with their data-driven inventory management, in terms of how it visualizes the data and then make informed decisions of the type of new products that it has to launch, new lines that it has to produce, the products that it needs to stop selling, and so on. And finally, Procter and Gamble is actually using it in AI in their consumer insights by looking at what products are customers using, and then letting AI recommend the new products on the basis of 3 or 4 products a particular cohort is using, and letting AI come up with new product ranges. And of course, they go through a process, but in terms of recommending the new products and what goes within those products is actually being done by AI at the moment. Again, something very basic that you can do. First one we touched on is AI-powered sales forecasting. You can, if you run a small agency, you can use AI for customer segmentation. One thing is that if you and you would be using Xero for your accounts, or MYOB or something to manage your accounts. Again, there's a potential to link AI with your accounts and get better insight from there in terms of how does the financial health looks like, how does the cash flow looks like, and so on. And then we have worked with a lot of small tech startup where they don't, rather than hiring large development teams, they are hiring one CTO who is actually using AI to develop minimum viable products. So earlier it used to take between 3 to 6 months in developing minimum viable products. Now it's taking between 1 to 3 months. And then ultimately also in a small manufacturing business, and we have recently worked with a manufacturing business where we looked at all of their data, staff, their efficiency, resource management, and then AI provided some insights in terms of how they can make their resource management more efficient, more effective, how they can reduce overtime, and how they've got people with different skills who can be used in different places. So the question is how to get started on AI journey. So you can take the tools that I shared, and there are other tools, and start to implement them and play with them. But a more methodological approach is to actually go through a process that we recommend. It's a 6-step process. And you start by identifying any problems or gaps or opportunities. Just look in your business and see if you are able to identify any problems or challenges or gaps. If your staff are saying, no, that's just too much, it takes too much time, anything that frustrates you every day, any mistake that people make all the time, try and identify that. If you are not able to do that, then there's a methodological process to do that as well. The first step is to create process diagrams of your process in your organization. And even if you're implementing even if you're implementing AI or not, I think every organization needs to have a very clear visibility of the processes you have in your organization. Like, no matter what is the size, no matter whether you are a freelancer or if you've got 5 or 20 or 500 people, you need to have a visibility of what are the processes in your organization. They need to be visual, they need to be there on a document so that you can see how those processes are. But what happens is that when we start to develop these processes, we start to identify the leakages or gaps and say, that could be done better. So the very first diagram that you create it as an as-is diagram or the current state. But then you look at it and say, this could be done better. You still don't know the solution. You still don't know how it could be done better. But you know that probably there's a wastage over here. This could be done better. Ideally, the process should be like this. And that is called a to-be process or the future state. And then you look at your current state and your desired states, and then identify what are the key steps that I need to make sure to bridge the gap. And that gives you your requirements. What are the desired actions that you need to take to bridge the gap between your current state and desired state? Another thing to look at is your customer journey map. Again, if you have customers, then extremely important to have a very clear customer journey map. Customer journey map is a very simple document where you look at all of the stages your customer goes through. Like if you have got a cafe, a customer looks at the billboard, decides to walk in, waits in the line, walk to the reception, order a coffee, pull out their credit card or cash or whatever, place the order. Now, whether sits on a table or stands in a queue or waits for the coffee, receives the coffee and walks out. So that's your full customer journey. Now, if you run a professional service business, it would be different. For some, it would be more complex, but you need to look at each and every step that a customer takes when they interact with your business. Sometimes it does not start with them looking at your billboard. It starts with them being aware about your business. So it's the first time that when they were going via car and they saw your shop, or the first time they saw your ad on social media, or read about you in a newspaper, doesn't matter. But could start with awareness, can move into research, consideration, purchase, and support. Identify all of those steps the customer is taking. And most importantly, work with your customers to identify what are they feeling at each and every step. We did this exercise in our organization. When a customer starts with us on the journey of developing a product or a website, initially they are unsure. They don't know, it's a new world. So when we interacted with the customers, we identified that they said that they were unsure, they had that anxiety. When they have the workshop with us, they feel comfortable. When they sign the contract to develop, they are extremely excited. And then the excitement starts to fall, because then they are in this waiting mode where they're just waiting for the output for the next 2 or 3 months. They are seeing a buggy output, like it's not finished, so they are not particularly happy. And then when the website is launched, their excitement goes back up again. So for us, the challenge was, how do we ensure that we bridge that gap that we had where the customer excitement was going down? So we identified touch points that we could add into our process to keep them updated with daily reports, have weekly meetings with them, share exciting steps throughout the process, and give them some tasks to do as well. And this giving them some tasks to do comes from a very interesting psychology about psychological moonshots. So what Uber found with their application was that when people ordered a cab and then they were waiting, they didn't like that waiting time. So instead of trying to reduce their waiting time, what they did was they created a map where people could actually see how that car was traveling to their home. Now, that could have been solved just with a time. Like they could say your cab is 5 minutes away, 4 minutes away, 3 minutes away. But just by giving your user something to do and giving them a map, you are actually engaging them in the process. So what we started to do is, like, we couldn't shorten our development time. It's going to take 3 months. But we designed a list which is called, we called as client task list, and we gave them tasks at every step. In every week there would be a task that the client would do, something that they would expect, something that they would receive, and something that they would be engaged in, and that improved their customer experience. That's something that you can do. And again, look at what is your current state of customer journey, where you want to go, and identify the actions that you need to take. Once you have identified the actions, you can define what are your process gaps and what are your experience gaps. Now, the next step is for you to implement AI. We can actually take this, just process maps and experience get process gaps and experience gaps, and create a solution from there. But to implement AI, there are 2 more steps. First is to identify and document structured data in your organization. So what does structured data means? Any data in your organization that is in tabular format is structured data, whether it's in Excel, whether it's on a piece of paper, but still in a tabular format, whether it's in your CRM, your accounting system, your human resource management system, your inventory, your website, doesn't matter where. If you've got a list, that is your structured data. And that data is extremely, extremely powerful. What you can do is you can actually take all of that data, connect it, put it into a data warehouse, and then you can hook it up with an AI engine that could drive insights for your data. So it can manipulate your data, enrich your data. So a lot of our clients use AI enriching tools to enrich their Salesforce data or CRM data, which means, when you put customer information in your CRM, sometimes you don't have the full information, but AI has the full information. So AI can actually look up at your data, go out, find more information, and enrich your CRM. So it can enrich your data, it can clean up your data, but most importantly, provide meaningful insights and help you with decision making. Similarly, the same thing that you can do is with the unstructured data. So unstructured data means any data that you have in form of documents, whether these are paper documents or actual documents in your work drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, wherever. Your policies, your documentations, any images and videos that you have in your organization, your procedures, tutorials, submission and portfolios. You can take all of that and feed it to a large language model so that large language model can be trained on your data, and then you can train that large language model to do certain output for you. Like a very simple use case would be to do a basic search and find anything about your organization, or get it to create an article or proposal or whatever. But it goes much more beyond that. You can set up automation in your workflows and things like that. But connecting and identifying all of your unstructured data and feeding it into a large language model is something that's extremely powerful, something that more and more organizations have started to do. That's something that's not common in small businesses, but watch this space. It's going to be very common in next 2 to 3 years. So every organization would have an AI engine or AI bot, or this sort of like mothership type of thing. People would go for it and ask the questions. It will provide the insights. It will have all the knowledge of the organization. It is scary, but it is going to be the future. And then once you have identified and documented your structured data and identify and document your unstructured data, next step is to create a requirement document from the process and experience gaps that you identified. You create a simple document. You say, these are my process gaps that I want to fill. These are my experience gaps that I want to fill. This is the structured data that I have. This is the unstructured data that I have. And you create give it to ChatGPT. It will create a requirement document for you. You don't have to do it yourself. And the next step is to identify the right AI tool set or get a custom one. If you're a small business, you think probably I'm not ready for a custom one. You can actually, again, get AI to do the work for you and find the right AI toolset, or you can do some research on the basis of those requirements and find the toolset. Actually, you can feed that requirement document into something like ChatGPT or Llama or Gemini and say, these are my requirements. Find me the tools that would be feasible. Or you can actually say, these are my requirements. These are the tools that I'm thinking. Would they work for me or not? And actually it would provide you with that analysis. But if you just go about shopping for new AI tools just because they look cool, but you don't know what systems you have, how your data is stored and managed and things like that, then you are going on a bit of wild hunt. Of course, you might land somewhere, but a more organized and better way is to go through this.